They thought they had banished us forever. But now, finally, we have returned.
It's been a minute since we covered a Confused Matthew video, and I'd say it's time we did another one. Welcome, friends, to another Streamteam video response stream. Please, we're gonna have a couple of guests on. One's a little bit late, running a bit late, so we'll have to see. Please welcome Count Valerian.
Evening. I guess is it evening or afternoon? Whatever.
Afternoon.
Whatever. Evening, afternoon, whatever. I've never seen. I don't think I've ever seen a Confused Matthew thing. I realize he's persona non grata here, I believe, but I'm completely neutral on the subject.
No, I just think that he has bad tastes and weird takes. I don't consider him persona non grata. I actually kind of don't believe in that, even treating people like that. I'm just like, oh, he's a person of mockery. Okay, because he's clearly insane.
We shall see.
Yeah, either that or he's just strange.
I'm very tempted to say he's brilliant. This is just a troll.
We shall see. The last one we did was, I believe that it was his No Country for Old Men, and that was freaking dog crap. It sucked.
I loved it.
You've never even seen No Country for Old Men, let alone Confused Matthew's review of it.
How do you know? Just a lucky guess. Just a lucky guess.
Because you're you. You don't watch movies usually.
I know that No Country for Old Men exists.
Did you know it existed before this moment?
Actually, yes. I have heard the
Really?
name before. So
Fair enough.
That's quite impressive by my standards.
I would definitely agree with that. Alrighty, let's get it started in high. Let's get it started in here.
I have seen what's God now.
Yeah, I'll just
came to movies. It's
Confused Matthew.
1994 was a really bad year for me when it came to movies. It's the year I saw The Lion King for the first time. It's the year I saw Star Trek Generations for the first time. And it was also the year I saw The Nightmare Before Christmas for the first time.
These are good. One of them is bad. We can that of them at least. The Star Trek 5. Hello? Sorry?
Oh, right. That's the one where Picard makes Kirk, right? Generations?
The one where Kirk and Picard meet.
Yeah, I actually did see that one.
What were your thoughts? I've only seen the nostalgia critic review of it. I
think it was mildly. I think I was mildly disappointed. By then, the show Next Generations by then had become a pretty good show. It started out, then it got better after Roddenberry stopped writing for it, and Berman and Piller took over. It started getting better. But the film, yeah, I was kind of disappointed. It was like, and then they killed the poor kid, which is sad. And then I didn't like Emotional Data
Wesley?
very much. No, that would not have been that sad. His nephew, Picard's nephew. And
Okay.
I didn't like Emotional
Business.
Data very much.
Pressure, right?
Yeah. So, yeah. I would say the show was better than the films based on the show. The show is very variable in quality. Even in later seasons, you could have clunkers. Well, anyway, what else does Confused Matthew have to say about Nightmares?
I would eventually go on to exact my revenge on the first two on that list, and I definitely had as many problems with this film as I did with the other two. But the funny, The Lion King and Star Trek Generations earned my wrath for years. This movie was so damned lifeless, I actually forgot. I'm not even saying I didn't like the movie. I forgot the movie even existed. I only put it on Netflix. How do you like that? Bad. It wasn't even worth remembering until almost 20 years later.
Mm-hmm.
The Nightmare Before Christmas is just a classic example of how an interesting idea can be really fucked up, just plain bad storytelling. And I think that sets this film apart from the other.
It's quite the hot take.
Yeah, I mean, when he was saying that stuff
Interesting.
about Generations, I can see that. But hoo-ha, I don't know. We'll see what he says. Maybe it is a bad story.
The other two films that I mentioned. The Lion and Star Generations had no story. It's just not told well. The characters are underdeveloped, nothing in the film is consistent, the way the holiday worlds even work are never clearly defined, and what might be my most controversial statement of all, the songs are terrible, both on their own and in the way they are used in the film.
Okay, so he's stated his arguments. I would agree with none of them. Like, they're very much like this is one of those times where we kind of have to say it's kind of a fairy tale world, and it doesn't need to explain everything, it just needs to be relatively consistent. And it is pretty consistent, to be perfectly honest, with itself. So
Yeah, I guess there are oddities like Oogie Boogie Man being allowed to exist even though he's basically Jack's enemy and stuff like that, I suppose. But the songs are kind of unmemorable from my point of view, but then like pretty much all pop these days is unmemorable.
well, is it pop music, really?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay.
I don't know the fine shades of popular music. It wasn't rap, and it wasn't rock and roll, so I guess it's pop.
We have somebody in the back room. So let's bring him in.
Sheer willpower, Nino.
Hello.
And the Emperor has arrived.
Hello.
Hello. I take it I haven't missed
How you
much.
doing? No,
Oh,
we
no.
just barely started. He's just stated that it's an empty, not very well told story.
Citation needed?
Well, we'll see.
All of these problems make the film deserving review, so let's get to it. Even the title of this film gets for years when it comes to who gets the most credit for what in film or television. Unless you are both writer and director, bare minimum of credit and praise, whereas a director or a producer will get 4 credits even if they have virtually nothing to do with it. This is the all-time greatest example of that bullshit. As Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas is true as most people think. It's based on a poem he wrote years ago, but as far as the production is concerned, it's really difficult to say just how involved he actually was. He didn't direct, he didn't write the screenplay, and his involvement was limited as he was in the middle of shooting Batman Returns and also beginning production on Ed Wood. According to director Henry Selick, whom I take with a grain of salt, Burton showed up on set only 5 times over 2 years of production and only stuck around for about 10 days in total. I take this with a grain of salt because over the years, Selick has basically argued no one had anything to do with. He's missing screenwriter Carolyn Thompson's contributions as well, so this could simply be a case of him trying to make himself sound more important, but whatever the case, Burton's contributions beyond the basic inception for the story are questionable. But the thing that really surprises me is that Danny Elfman's massive involvement with this production actually turns out to be one of its biggest weaknesses. That surprises me because Danny Elfman is amazing. He's written some of the greatest entertainment compositions ever heard, from the classic Batman theme to the Simpsons theme. But here, his compositions are just off, and they don't really convey anything. Most of them are overly long and repetitive.
This is Halloween, this is Halloween, 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 Halloween.
I'm confused. Is this Halloween?
Why?
I don't know. This I guess the songs do what they're meant to do. They're entertaining.
He's also cut out a lot where they are not repetitive. It's just the chorus that's somewhat repetitive.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's the Sandy Claus song is amusing. Is actually Sandy Claus, or was that the
That's how they
subtitles
pronounce it.
being-
Yeah, Sandy Claus.
Yeah, yeah. Ooh, you got an echo. That's really cool.
Kidnap the Sandy Claus, tie him in a bag, lock
There's-
him up for 90 years.
Those kids are adorable. So well behaved too.
Indeed. Would you like to raise them?
Well, at least they follow orders.
Unlike me, I'm touched.
Yeah. Luckily, you're not my long lost son.
Indeed. I think that you would really hate that.
Oh God, no! Kill it.
Hee hee hoo.
Quite so.
Yeah, can you imagine? That would be hilarious.
For you, maybe, possibly.
Yeah. There's a whole tragic backstory too.
Indeed.
The melody of his compositions are fine, but he's writing lyrics this time too, and unfortunately, it turns out that Elfman isn't much of a lyricist. He rhymes much with stuff, he rhymes impressed with bet, and when things actually do rhyme, he seems to just grab at anything that rhymes at need.
Tour guide in Kentucky. I'm Mr. Unlucky, and I'm known throughout England and France.
This is the only feature film in the history of feature films that will ever reference a guy in Kentucky.
How do you
And-
know?
And this is a problem. Why? I'm failing to see a legitimate problem here.
Do we know that that's? I mean, a guy it's from Kentucky. It sounds like a perfectly reasonable thing. I imagine there are plenty of films where there's a lyric saying a guy from Kentucky.
Well, essentially, that exact joke actually turns up in Edge of Tomorrow, where he says, "You're American." No, I'm from Kentucky. And it's hilarious.
Yeah.
Because this is this nonsense Jill started just saying, I don't care. I'm just like, no, I am not an American. I'm from Kentucky.
Yeah. The other things he was mentioning were assonances, and you know what Eustace says about that.
Mm-hmm.
Some kids play games about Narnia, got gradually balmier and balmier.
Yeah. I don't see a problem.
Yeah.
Now, I almost never make songs an issue when it comes to my reviews, but in this case, it is a big issue because way too much of this story is being told through song. We get 2 full-length numbers back-to-back in the first 10 minutes of the film alone, and just about every aspect of the plot and characters will be conveyed in musical. When your film depends this much on songs, they have to be great, and unfortunately, these aren't. We open with a big musical number with all the Halloween characters simply describing what kind of Halloween characters they are.
I am the clown with the tearaway face.
Yeah, they're archetypes. That's the whole point.
Follow the trace. I am the who and the who's there. I am the wind.
Let me just check for copyright. Just make sure, because sometimes you get banned. It's very, very annoying. 1 second.
I am the shadow of the moon at night, filling your dreams to the brim.
It's not wrong. There is a law.
After we establish what they all do, Jack makes his entrance by setting himself on fire, diving into a fountain, and raising up out of it.
We did it. Wasn't it terrifying? Right.
There's a lot of times that in songs it's true.
There is, yes.
So I mean, that he's not wrong there.
He's not, but
It's not correct either.
yeah, I think part of it is just like he's not substantiating anything is the main issue.
Believe it was our most horrible yet.
Wait, that was Halloween? You guys just singing about what Halloween...
It just got finished. It's like the tail end of everything.
Yeah.
This is kind of a non-issue. I don't even see why this would be a problem.
I mean, it's that kind of a show.
It's not. It's one of the shows where it's. It's really frustrating, to be perfectly honest.
I don't think
So
he's just
what-
not paying attention.
So what's frustrating is that even though he's correct, he's right when he says that a lot of the space is in songs. What's frustrating is that he says that's a problem.
Yep.
Yeah,
Mhm.
because that's the kind of show it is.
Mm-hmm.
Halloween is Halloween? Is anything you're doing having any effect on Halloween in the human world, or is this something else altogether? Do you
That's
guys
not
even know
important
about
to
the human world, or is this Halloween?
It's not important to
It's
the
not
plot.
important. Yeah.
And eventually
Well-
we do see him interacting with the human world, so I would say yes.
I mean, obviously they know about the human world because later on he's turning up in the human world, and I think there are like news stories about him too.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it would be a problem if he didn't interact with the human world necessarily. Thinking about.
Sorry, sorry, I muted you for just a second.
Oh, because of the rapper thing. Yeah, sorry about that.
Yep.
What was I? What was I saying? I was saying it's not a film that one necessarily thinks that much about.
No, it's just pretty much straightforward.
Yeah.
It's just a story about a struggling artist who doesn't. It's just the story of a struggling artist who's extremely unsatisfied.
Yeah.
I'm on his side now. We've all been there, Jack. Okay. Well, Matthewy chap.
Halloween Town just all about singing about Halloween once a year? I don't know, but it turns out that Jack is a little down after their parades, so he goes off to mope. Although Halloween has never had a dedicated mascot to represent it, Jack seems to fill that role in this universe. He is the Pumpkin King despite the fact that he's a skeleton, and he's apparently the best at scaring people even though he's just a skeleton, whereas they've got a clown that can rip its freaking face off. We're then introduced to... No, fuck
He's also known as
that.
the
We're not
Pumpkin
introduced.
King.
We're shown Sally for the first time. We're never going to be introduced to this character, and she doesn't do anything ever in the film. Ever. This character has only one function, to be locked up and then escape over and over and over again. Sally, you make Nala look like the most important character ever conceived for a film. So as I said, Jack goes off to mope, and we get another song that is again very long, but doesn't convey very much. What do we learn in this song?
Okay, before he says his take, what do we learn about Jack and how he feels right now? What do we learn?
He's getting really tired of the same old routine over and over again.
Mm-hmm. He's a frustrated artist who can't seem to figure out why his life is unfulfilled. So
Something new.
Is it true that Sally just gets captured? I mean, she does try. There was something she was trying to stop. I guess she.
There was two things she was doing. She was saving Santa Claus and stopping Jack from basically hijacking Christmas.
Yeah, I guess that's not totally insignificant, surely.
She's the moral
It's the main
center
point
of
of
things, trying to be the voice of reason because Jack has gone nuts.
Yeah.
He's drunk
Well,
way
more
too much
nuts
Christmas
legal.
Kool-Aid.
Yes. Too much
Pumpkin
bacon on it, I
flavored
would say.
Kool-Aid sounds disgusting.
Pumpkin flavored most things sounds.
We learn that Jack is scary, but that he's tired of being scary. I mean, that's really about it.
No.
Huh.
No.
I'm sorry, Matthew, but you're wrong. You're
We learned that. What else we learn about about I almost said about Matthew, about Jack. We learned that Sally thinks he's hot.
mhm.
We learned he's very entertaining.
Immediately. Are you just excited to share?
And considering this song is nearly 4 minutes in length, very little is conveyed in all that time. Compare this to Aladdin's first song. We learn here that he only steals the things he needs, Abu is his only friend, he has no parents, etc. These are character traits that build Aladdin as a person. They just don't build Jack at all in this moment. We are simply told what his opening motivation is.
Interesting equivalence. Let's go over that.
Aren't they about the same thing?
Yeah. Well,
To a small degree?
yeah, one of the issues is Jack's goals are not concrete. Aladdin's are, or at least his wants are. Aladdin's wants are concrete. He doesn't want to get arrested.
He doesn't want to get arrested. He does want to eat.
And so, because Jack can't identify what is wrong, since he's relatively successful, he is can gets consistent praise. Is it say? Aim is a if for just a person saying, I've done this routine, I am good at it, but I kind of want to try something new. Like just as an artist, like I definitely feel for Jack. Like I've gotten into that rut multiple times. And it just seems as though Matthew doesn't. It seems like Matthew just doesn't understand the artist, just not artiste, but just the mind of an artist at all. And it's really, really frustrating.
Honestly, haven't you wanted to take over Christmas sometime and give people bizarre stuff instead of the usual holy mistletoe things and just give people incredibly weird things that will freak them out?
Yeah, it would be hilarious if you did, if we could do that.
Yeah.
That would be amazing.
Oh, and in between, Sally says this.
Jack, I know how you feel.
No, you don't. Who are you? You haven't been in the movie yet.
This kind of feels like Cinematic Venom's Lord of the Rings video on a much shorter timeline, where is this like let's just dissect the scene from just as is in the dialogue. Jack expresses, there's an ache in my bones for something new. I just feel an emptiness right now. And Sally says that I feel the same way. And we see from the context that she's looking at him that she really likes him.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty clear from the context.
Mm-hmm.
And she's introduced, that's how she's introduced. Is that actually her first line?
No, her first line is when she's getting accosted by her creator.
Oh, that thing, yeah, the weird duck thing.
Yeah,
and she's like, "Let me go." And he's like, "So much excitement is not good for you." And he just is coddling her, and she hates it. So I just find the whole thing frustrating.
she's just not paying attention. That's the reason.
Yeah, I kind of get that feeling as well. Yeah, that's not a bad assessment, honestly. Let's see.
Sally has only said 8 words in total before this bullshit line. Let go, yes I am, and no I'm not. We don't know her well enough for this line to mean anything. Besides, it's not true. Jack is just a little sick of what he's doing. You actually, I guess, want your freedom. You don't know how he feels at all. Who are you? So then Jack inadvertently strolls into the woods and discovers the holiday doors. He completely bypasses the Kwanzaa door and misses an opportunity to hang out with Kwanzaabot, and instead chooses the Christmas door. Here we go into another 2-minute song about how much Jack likes this place. I have to say that it's a good idea to have a contrast like a Halloween character experiencing Christmas and all that, but you have to keep in mind that this is a full feature-length film, and so far there hasn't been anything in this movie to justify that. I know it hasn't been on for very long, but the individual scenes and songs have been very long for what they are. Jack gets a good feeling from this place and feels fulfilled in a way that he doesn't when he's doing the Halloween thing. Now, that would be great if we knew anything about him as a character, but we really don't.
I would not agree with that.
Yeah.
It sounds like he wants more build up, more time to develop Jack and Sally and the relationships before the plot actually gets going. It sounds like that's what he's looking for.
Which I think we understand Jack fine. He's a very straightforward character.
Well, subtlety is not exactly the film's strong point.
No, and it kind of isn't really trying or endeavoring to be subtle. It's
No.
I mean, also the songs as well kind of give all the details away.
Yeah. Blair, and you had something to say?
I don't remember. But yeah, the songs, it seems like the characters are being, to the extent they're being developed in and through the songs as well as whatever stuff they're doing. So, yeah, I don't think it's a problem because I don't think this film is as ambitious as he wants it to be. That's the impression I'm getting.
Yeah, it's kind of a combination of it makes internal sense within itself, and as well as achieving the goals that it set out to do. So,
Somebody needed to tell the writers that just saying your motivations doesn't give someone character depth. It's what your characters do that defines them in combination with what they want.
Well, he's not wrong.
He's not wrong, but he's kind of misapplying it. Are you guys familiar with a lot of the with one of the aspects of musical, with one of the aspects of emotion in musicals?
You mean like My Fair Lady and all that?
Well, just the idea is that when a character sings in a musical, it's because the emotion has built up to the point where the only way to express it is through song.
Yeah, makes sense, and that's
that's kind of what he's done.
Like every single Disney film.
Well, it also goes back to operas and related genres, operetta related genres like that.
Mm-hmm. And that's what is being expressed here, where Jack is expressing his exhaustion, his kind of loneliness, and lack of drive and passion.
Well, he does so in a very lively, driven way.
Well, it kind of means that he's a person who has great passion, he just has no place to go with it. So, and then he sees this Christmas town, and he gets a lot of just something new, like sparks that passion that he has boiling inside of him that he hasn't been able to utilize in a long time. So we're not, like, it just seems as though Matthew just was bored and wasn't paying attention.
For example, we know that Abu in Aladdin can be a little selfish at times, but that he also has a good heart. We know this because he stubbornly refused to give up his food until he saw children who were starving just like he was, and then he was very generous. And we know that young Simba is a little raging dick bastard because we only see him doing little raging dick bastard things. We never see him do anything good in the entire time
Because
he's
he's a
in the
kid.
film.
Yeah, kids are dicks. He's also not all that
Yeah.
bad. He is not that bad as kids go. He's like somewhat entitled. He's somewhat entitled, but he's not malicious. He's just kind of full of himself. Then he turns into a hippie when
Yeah, he doesn't know.
Did you say it turned into a hippie?
Yeah, he does. He goes off to live in the jungle,
Yeah.
go with his buddies and eat bugs all day, even though like bull crap, he's having some serious steak on the side.
Yeah, must be.
Well,
I don't believe that he
yeah, probably.
ate
Yeah.
because that's just not enough like nutrients. He would have been scrawny if he just ate bugs. Yeah.
These scenes are not in these films by accident. They were put there to give the audience a sense of who these people are. Except for Simba. Simba's scenes were put in simply because the writers thought it would be cute. That was the problem. They never gave any thought to what these actions would actually mean for that character. We don't get even Simba's level of development when it comes to the Pumpkin King. So far, the only thing Jack has actually done in this movie is walk to Christmas Town. So while he's off having fun, the whole town is apparently panicking because apparently Jack can't be gone for more than a day without everyone falling apart. Oh yeah, and Sally gets captured but then escapes again. Who cares? Jack comes back after having his heart filled with Christmas cheer, and he wants to convey that cheer to the other townspeople, so he calls a town meeting to explain Christmas to them, I think. He describes all the customs and traditions that he witnessed to them, but they're just not getting it.
There's no foot inside, but there's candy. Or sometimes it's filled with small toys.
Small toys? Do they bite? Do they snap or explode in a sack?
Or perhaps they just spring out and scare girls and boys.
What a splendid idea! Yeah, this Christmas sounds fun. I fully endorse it. Let's try it at once.
Everyone, please, now not so fast.
Okay, so
Oh boy.
So he is okay. We're about to get here. All right.
There's something here that you don't. I'll give them what they want.
Give them what they want?
And on a dark, cold night, under full moonlight, he flies into a fog like a vulture in the sky. And they call me. At least they're excited, but they don't understand.
Well, of course they don't understand. For some reason, you told them Santa Claus was just another Halloween monster.
That's
I
the
don't
point.
get this movie.
Yeah, so I want to dig into this a little bit. It seems as though Matthew has never tried explaining something to another person on their level before.
So basically, he's explaining Christmas within Halloweenish terms.
Yeah, because that's the only thing they seem excited about. So
Or the only thing they know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only thing they have context for, and it's kind of like this is just come from my personal experience. When I was a missionary in Kansas, I had to vary my theological explanations based on the experience of the people I was teaching. And I had to put it in terms that they could understand. And help them to get things. because that's just how you explain something to somebody who has no context of what you're talking about.
Seems reasonable.
So, but he's saying he's just. Sorry, go for it.
Yeah, but plus as well, the nightmare creatures, they don't know anything that's so whimsical, shall we say. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
It's the juxtaposition between both... Go on.
No, you finish. I was clearing my throat, sorry.
It's the juxtaposition between... Yeah, it's just the juxtaposition between both something that's heartwarming and whimsical compared to something that is supposed to be horrifying and scary. That's the whole point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, mind you, Halloween in this film is not particularly scary.
No, they do not go. Yeah, they it's not mean-spirited as they put it. It's more of a
willful ignorance.
I was going to say heavily sanitized, because they could be doing full-on pagan rituals with blood sacrifices and stuff like that.
Yeah, and not to mention Satanism and all that
Yeah,
but we wouldn't want that. Of course, there are people who think that the Wizard of Oz is Satanist, so hey, whatever.
Those people are mentally deficient. Wizard of Oz is just a bland, boring movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I do not enjoy. I do not enjoy
the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, I like other adaptations of the Wizard of Oz. I just don't like the MGM version.
Oh, I loved it as a kid.
Okay. The
only thing I didn't like is the dream explanation bit. The strongly hinted dream explanation. I didn't care for that, and of course the message at the end is almost the opposite of the actual Oz books, where Dorothy, Auntie Em, and Uncle Henry all moved to Oz. So there's no place like home is not the message of the books necessarily, but the film was to a 5-year-old me. The film is very good at doing what it does.
Oh, it's definitely very good. I just don't like it.
Yeah. It's good at being what it is.
Yeah.
Carry on.
All right, let's see.
Welcome to part 2, because apparently you guys missed me saying that. So after calling a town meeting to tell the townspeople that Christmas is just Halloween, Jack goes off to his room and tries to figure out how to explain Christmas to them. How about starting by not telling them that Christmas is just Halloween? This is what I don't understand about that I may as well give them what they want remark. If you just want to give them what they want, why don't you just say, okay, never mind, let's just keep doing Halloween. And if you actually want to explain Christmas to these people, why don't you just take them to Christmas Town? It's apparently right across the street.
Admittedly, that is a good point.
Yes.
That is his first good point. I will admit that he did a good job. That is a good point, that he could just take them there. But and since it seems like they go back and forth, I think maybe he just doesn't think about it.
Christmas is too dangerous anyway.
I think there's also the point of he doesn't fully understand it as well. He goes on all these scientific experiments and is trying to figure it out.
Oh yeah, those experiments. That was brilliant.
Yeah, it is funny, but he's trying to figure it out when it's just like something that he can't articulate because he has no context for it. He's exploring it himself, and he can't quite articulate it to other people. That's something that a lot of people frequently have when they're have a kind of emotional experience and they try to convey it to somebody who does not have that same emotional context. So
Yeah, but then he's using like test tubes and all this other stuff.
and you can't really do it.
No.
All right, let's keep going.
So Jack is up in his room conducting experiments to try and explain Christmas. Now, just to recap, this is all that Jack has done since the movie has been on. He moped, he walked to Christmas Town, he walked back to Halloween Town somehow since I didn't see any doors in Christmas Town. He called a town meeting to tell them that Christmas is just Halloween, and then he sat in his room and conducted experiments.
That's a little bit reductive.
Yes.
Well, I mean, the film hasn't even been on that long, so it's not surprising that not all that much has happened yet.
Yeah. Let's kind of like he didn't even like explain Christmas as Halloween. He tried explaining Christmas as is, and then he gave up because he got frustrated and did it with them. So yeah, it's not really a it's not really complicated, Matthew.
To try and explain what he seemed to have a good handle on anyway. In other words,
I would not agree that he had a good handle on it. Quite the reverse, actually. Like he saw things mechanically, but he doesn't understand it emotionally. Or at least he can't articulate it.
Yeah. Okay. Carry on.
Jack has done nothing in the film so far. Where are the characters? Where's the story? What is this movie about? So Jack has been in his room messing with this stuff forever, and then finally he has a revelation.
Eureka! This year, Christmas will be ours!
Christmas will be ours? Wait, I thought you were trying to explain Christmas to them.
So have you never heard the phrase, maybe I just need to do it? But to get it? I think I can go. They're interesting. It says, even if I can't see it, doesn't mean I can't believe it, which is actually an interesting point of view, really, because he just says, yeah, I can explain it, but I want to try it anyway. It's not terribly complicated. It's not complicated, Mr.
Now you're just going to do it? And why are they cheering? They don't even know what Christmas is yet. I mean, for fuck's sake, did the writers ever know where they were going with this? So, yes, what started out as Jack trying to explain Christmas has now become them doing Christmas. And here we get to the issue of the complete lack of conflict in this movie. Usually in a case like this where...
That is actually... There isn't really a whole lot of conflict. Mostly it's just Jack's journey. Sorry, go for it.
Oh, I was sorry. I'm not sure I had anything. I was trying to think that maybe there was a bit of a conflict in the sense of Jack learning, but then you put it as Jack's journey. Maybe that's a better way of putting it. Learning that he has to like not take over Christmas after all.
Oh, for Pete's sake. Policy violations? Oh my gosh.
What are you Pete saking about? What I just said?
No, it's the stream got suspended for policy violations. I'm not sure why. That's annoying.
Of course it was.
Okay, come on. Let's.
Oh, I wonder, is this the thing where they think that? But we've been doing a lot of commentary. Is this the bit where they think we're AI, or is this copyright, or both?
I'm not sure. Yeah, it's super strange.
I mean, maybe we are AI. We're explaining quite a lot.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Let me just come on. Stream unavailable. Let's just wait around for it. Come on. Yeah. Oh, come on. This is. Okay, we're back.
Yay.
Okay, so you were saying about Jack's journey, Valerian. Okay, he must be. But yeah, this is very much about Jack's journey. Like he just gets to eventually understand, you know what? I don't I have some ideas.
It was fun.
Yeah.
One character wants to break from tradition and do something different, you will have the rest of the characters telling him that he's being reckless and destroying the traditions that made them who they are. That's what I.
Yeah, that would be extremely cliche.
That was Sally's job.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, yeah. Yeah, that actually sounds. Yeah, that's pretty. Yeah, that's about right. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I was going to say that
Because like you said, Sally's the voice of reason.
that there was a conflict between his wanting to take over Christmas and his knowing that he oughtn't take over it. But I don't think he did know he oughtn't take over it, so I don't think it's that. He just learns that he oughtn't take over it, and Sally knows that he oughtn't take over it, but he doesn't necessarily, does he?
No.
Basically, he's a kid.
Well, yeah.
He's a kid at Christmas, essentially.
They're essentially all kids.
Mm-hmm.
I thought was going to happen when they introduced the boogeyman character, who we'll get to in a minute. I figured the townspeople would try to convince Jack that he's destroying the foundation of their society with all of this Christmas talk, and then the boogeyman would use this as an excuse to try to take over and be the new leader of Halloween Town.
Oh, that would be interesting.
That's Sally's job, though. Sally's the voice of reason, essentially.
It'd also be a little bit cliche, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah. Yeah, a little cliche.
And this movie kind of dodges a lot of cliches in a lot of ways and just doesn't do them, which I think is actually to its benefit.
Yeah.
But no one really cares. Jack tells them all that they're doing Christmas this year, and everyone in the town just says, okay, sure, why not?
Why wouldn't they? They're not particularly attached, and they seem like they'll just kind of go along with anything that Jack wants to do.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like they have a screaming amount of personality or will necessarily, or that they need to.
Yeah, true.
Oh, and in between there somewhere,
they're
Sally got
archetypes, that's the
kidnapped but
point.
then escaped again. Who cares? She brings Jack a basket of...
Oh, come on! You got to spin it again. That's... Yeah,
Well,
fine. Why does it keep doing this? That's frustrating.
Because
it's Nightmare.
Because it's Google.
That too.
This is annoying.
You remember when
This is
people
probably-
thought the internet would be this great liberated thing because we'd be free from the constraints of matter and of government and society. We could just float free.
Maybe.
Remember all that rot? Well, no, because the whole thing. I mean, I don't know how wonderful that would have been anyway, but no, because the whole thing got bought up, got taken over by 3 or 4 corporations. So sometime I must read to you from this thing, the Internet Declaration of Independence. Sometime I must read from that. It's just oh God help us.
Oh
Maybe
yes,
I just
Gabriel,
need
the founding fathers.
Sorry?
Maybe I just need
Gabriel, the
to.
founding father.
Yeah.
Maybe I just need to record our response and then upload it. Maybe that's the way around this,
Yeah.
rather than doing it live.
Yeah.
Okay, now we're back. Sodding buggers. All right. Well.
Damn you, Gabriel, you founding father bastard.
Okay. Let's try this again. Let's see how long it lasts.
stuff, which makes this the only time in the film so far that these two have actually interacted with each other. Honestly, I had no idea at this point if these two had even met yet, but they...
Okay. Have you not heard of the concept of unrequited love? Trying to make the moves on your crush?
Probably not.
Yeah.
In fact, if I were going to criticize it, would be that Jack, after ignoring her for the entire film, suddenly at the end seems, hey, suddenly, like in the last 5 minutes, he's in love with her.
I think that it works a little bit better than you're articulating because he trusts her to make the Sandy Claus outfit. That's the specific job, and he trusts me to.
Yeah. I mean, it's fine. It's fine,
Yeah.
but
It's not deep. It's not like John and Egret, definitely. Where that's where like it's pretty clear like why the individual folks like each other, and it worked that the two actors as well really liked each other to the degree that they got married IRL a few years later.
yes, they were very method about the whole thing.
And apparently, like he was and he was apparently very, like, according to her, was very much a sweetheart on set, and like whenever like shooting ended, he would run grab a robe for her so she could cover up, and it was one of the few parts of Fire Can't Kill a Dragon that were actually like, oh, this is actually heartwarming, in between the, oh my gosh, what is wrong with these people? Do they not know how to run a show? seems like these are basic mistakes that they're making.
Yeah, that and scratching your head up, scratching your heads over. Is this an expose? Is this a puff piece or an expose?
They apparently seem to know each other. After this,
pause. Maybe I need to lower the quality a little bit just to blur it. See if that'll- Okay. Okay. We're still safe so far.
I had the most terrible vision.
That's splendid.
No, it was about your Christmas. There was smoke and fire.
wait, so Sally has visions?
Apparently.
Okay, so anyway, Jack then got... No, wait, hang on. That's never happened before.
To be fair, they never really do explain that, to be fair. All things considered.
Yeah.
I would say that that's a legit criticism, definitely. And it is kind of contrived to try and engender some kind of conflict, but it doesn't really affect things.
Not really, no. It doesn't... It plays its function, really.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it could have been done without a vision by just having her reflect on it, that this is wrong and the reasons why it's wrong. But yeah, it was a little bit like, hey, okay, all right.
Admittedly, there's stuff like interdimensional travel between Christmas Land and a Halloween Town via trees. There's
And the real world as
mad
well.
science. There's mad science where you can create reindeer skeletons. I can suspend disbelief with this one. Admittedly, it is not explained, but there's a lot of other weird things happening. But this doesn't bug me necessarily. I don't think it's out of place. But yes, it is not explained that it exists as a plot device. I will fully admit that.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
So, would you say that that's a fair take, or am I being too lenient?
No, I think it's fair, yeah.
I mean, it's only like a couple of seconds anyway.
Yeah.
This is the first I've heard of this. Has she always had premonitions, or is this the first time she's ever had one? Is there some relationship between Frankenstein monsters and visions? Is this part of her character? Where the fuck did this come from?
It kind of seems like he wants a lot of things explained. And it
I think the one...
No, you go.
I think it's the beginning. There's also meant for kids. Like, anyone who sees a bad situation, like a Christmas tree or ornament burning, essentially, is, relatively speaking, not a good thing to have. Or to see, sorry.
I think he's just thinking mechanically, how does it work?
Yeah,
and it's very much does it need to be explained? We've kind of already established that this measure of that's a dude. It would be universe idea.
Whoops, sounds like you're breaking up a little bit.
I don't know, but in a case, it looked majorly horrible consequences. So Jack instructs them all on how to do Christmas and sends 3 Simbas to go get Santa. Jack just needs him out of the way for now so that he can take over his job, and instructs the 3 Simbas to make sure that he's comfortable. But the 3 Simbas have a plan of their own. They're going to kidnap Santa Claus and hand him over to the boogeyman so that he can do something with him. See, this is the most confusing part of the whole thing for me.
Yes, I will agree that Oogie Boogie is kind of not a good villain. He's got a lot of character and a lot of personality, but the conflict is very, very poor. Or if conflict, you could even say, he just kind of is a third act villain for Jack to go up against.
Yeah, and for starters, so long as you stay out of his territory, he's not a threat. He's not going to go out of. I don't think he ever leaves his little closet or wherever he lives in, and I don't think he's a threat in that sense. Also, when they're singing about the Oogie Boogie Man, we have no idea who the Oogie Boogie Man even is.
Mm-hmm.
He's just that, a boogeyman. That's what he is.
Yeah.
So it looks like the stream has gone down again.
Kill it.
Yeah.
Okay, so it looks like we probably aren't going to be able to do it live. So I'm just going to remove it from YouTube. And we'll just stream it on Twitch. Okay, so it looks like video responses just don't work at all. So we're just going to... Okay, so we're just going to record this and we'll re-upload it.
Thank you, Google.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let me try this. And then I'll re-upload this to YouTube later. So I think that's the way around it, since I think the main thing is just live stuff. That's the thing they don't like.
Yes, because...
Yeah, pretty much.
So is the problem copyright, or they think we're AI, or both?
I don't know. It's a copyright match, but yeah. What can you do?
This is why people get turned off from the whole idea of copyright. It's actually a reasonably sound idea in principle. In terms of people owning their own work, like artists and writers owning their own work, and people not ripping it off. But it's been horribly abused to the extent where it gives copyright a bad name. Because there's no way this is not fair use.
Mm-hmm. Let's keep going, shall we?
Yeah.
A bit about Boogie kidnapping Santa Claus reminds me of when Emery and Oglethorpe kidnapped Master Shake in Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
Do you remember this guy?
I'm starting to.
And how annoying he was? Remember that?
Yes, and how he scoffed at our magazines.
So, what were we going to do with him?
See, that right there is just where this loses me. Jack doesn't need Santa Claus for anything. He just needs him out of the way. So what difference does it make to the plot if Boogie holds him here? Where is he planning to go with this? What does the boogeyman have to gain or lose by holding him here? Is he just doing this for fun? So all the townspeople prepare for Christmas as if this is all just whatever the fuck. So all that's at stake in this movie at this point is that Santa Claus is being held against his will, and Jack might screw up Christmas for everyone. But based on Sally's premonition, apparently we're in for some really bad stuff in the end.
Now what?
It's the illustrated third act conflict, that's all.
To do Chris. Welcome to part 3. So all the Halloween townspeople prepare to do Christmas Halloween style, which is one of two major issues I have with this final act of the film. But let me
What?
start with the first
No
issue.
way.
They're just trying to do Christmas in their own way.
I know. What's bad about that?
Mm.
Nothing. It's just they just don't know what Christmas is.
Which is kind of the whole idea behind the film, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
After Jack gets all of his Christmas stuff in order, we then see him flying around in the human world to give out presents.
Yes.
So this means that the Halloween people do know about the human world? Then what was their big Halloween celebration for in the beginning? Shouldn't they be making Halloween happen in the human world? That's apparently what Santa Claus does when he goes there, so does it work that way with these guys or not? And if it doesn't, then how do they even know about the human world? How can they know about the human world and not know about the other holidays? It's pretty common knowledge here. And how in the fuck did he get to the human world? That question is actually answered later, but we'll get to that later on. So
you can go to Christmas Town. It's not too much of a stretch to think you can go to the human world.
Yeah, seems reasonable. I guess we don't know if they also prepare Halloween for us, and what would that entail, even? I guess we don't know that, do we? Which would be kind of interesting if we did know that.
Yeah, it would be. It's not necessary, though.
Yeah.
But I would assume that essentially, yeah, it's kind of the idea of All Hallows Eve, where they just rove the earth. So I think it makes sense since we have the Easter Bunny.
Yeah, the Easter Bunny exists.
And Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Very Americentric, that.
Indeed.
True, but still technically a holiday.
Yeah. It's probably it's one of the more boring holidays, but yeah.
So Jack is now in the human world somehow, and everyone in Halloween Town looks in a thing to see what he's doing. Now, this is the biggest issue I have with the whole film. So far, everything Jack feels, thinks, and wants to do with regarding Christmas has been completely inconsistent. First, it gave him a good feeling, and so he wanted to share it with everyone. Then he tells
what?
Everyone that Christmas is just Halloween for no reason. Then he goes off to try and explain Christmas to everyone. Then rather than explaining it, he decides to do Christmas, which has everyone excited for no reason because they don't even understand it yet. And finally, this. Look at this. After Jack went on and on and on in one of the first songs we heard about how he's sick of Halloween and wants to do something different, then discovers Christmas and decides to do something different, now he just turns Christmas into Halloween.
Of course.
He gives them creepy dolls and severed heads and a man-eating snake. He thinks nothing of the screams coming from the house.
It doesn't get it.
But that's because it's Jack's frame of reference.
That's why he's giving spin on something because he doesn't quite know how to do anything else.
After all these horrific presents are given. I mean, what the fuck?
Besides, that
that
Jack in the Box thing that's hopping after them is a riot.
Oh yeah, it's hilarious.
Said you were sick of Halloween. I thought Christmas was something different for you.
It is.
Wasn't that the whole point to the movie? Wasn't Christmas being different from Halloween your only motivation throughout the entirety of the film? If Halloween is what you were going to do anyway, then once again, why didn't you just say, okay, never mind, let's just keep doing Halloween?
I think that the best way of putting it is it's just it's Halloween cosplaying as Christmas with all the mentalities that comes with it.
Yeah, it's someone from a Halloween perspective trying to do Christmas, but they're doing it from the Halloween perspective. So that's what they do, and that's the whole joke.
Indeed.
Which is amusing. It's not deep or anything, but it's entertaining, certainly.
And they're not being malicious about it. They just don't know. That's the thing.
They have no frame of reference. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
Who wouldn't want to have a Jack in the Box run after you, or hop after you?
Yeah, that Christmas is hilarious.
Oh, and in the middle of this somewhere, we all have to take another big time out to hear Sally sing about how she wants to be with Jack. Something about her liking him, but him being distant. Gee, I'm sure glad you know what you and Jack's relationship is like, lady, because we sure as shit don't.
They don't have
Yes,
one.
we do.
That's what she said about. She wants their friends.
Yes.
She wants to be more than friends. Have you never been in a relationship, Matthew, or had a crush? This is how it works. It is admittedly the weakest song in the film, definitely, but it makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's a fangirl, essentially.
Yeah.
She simps for Jack.
Mm-hmm.
Which, fair enough.
That's one way of putting it, yeah.
Sally, you haven't been in the movie. Shut the fuck up.
He's so mean.
So eventually Jack is...
It's kind of weird his criticism of Sally is that just that she's not in the film. And she kind of is. She just has her own plot that she's doing.
Yeah, we do see and hear plenty of her.
And we get a good sense of her character, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Blown out of the sky by the military and lands on a weeping angel. Then we go into a song about how he didn't mean for any of this to happen, but that he gave it his best shot and now he's ready for Halloween again. Okay, you just did Halloween, first of all. Second of all, taking into account everything that has been said in this review, here is all that has happened in this film. Jack got sick of Halloween, walked to Christmas Town, walked back to Halloween Town somehow, tried to explain Christmas, did Christmas except Halloween, and finally said, all right, I got that out of my system, now let's do Halloween again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess that's true as a summary, pretty much.
Yes.
It is, but he hasn't really proven why that's bad, is the issue. Honestly, makes a lot of sense.
I think it's just not his cup of tea, which
Yeah.
is fine, but hey.
Yeah.
In other words, nothing happened in this movie. And now for one last big cherry on top of this shit cake.
Kill it.
What the fuck was up with that premonition thing about the burning tree? Not only did it come out of nowhere, but it never pays off. Sally told him that she had a vision of Jack's Christmas going down in smoke and fire. Yeah, if by smoke and fire you mean a couple of kids getting a little scared for a few minutes.
And he got blown up by the military, as you mentioned.
But I guess technically it's true that there weren't any burnt Christmas trees. At least I don't remember any.
Oh, definitely not. I would concur with that.
So he's right. There weren't. they didn't pay off the burning Christmas tree, so the film sucks.
Clearly.
Swear, this movie has some of the worst storytelling that I have ever seen.
You like The Last Jedi.
The Last Jedi, did you really?
Yeah.
Yep. He did a whole live stream about how he liked The Last Jedi.
Well, I guess it was the least bad of those films, but we don't want to hop down that rabbit hole, but I guess it was it might have been the least bad of those films.
I love that the opinion is, oh, it's the least bad.
Well, I'm not going to go all the way out and say it was good.
Extra
But he thought it was legitimately good.
The pogs were cute, and the penguins, the fish nuns were cute.
I guess we need to ship Balerion with the fish nuns.
Kill him!
No. The deep ones.
Well, maybe the fish nuns were the deep ones. Yeah, I should never say anything around here because
while this is going on,
they will be used against you.
Yeah, have you met me?
No. Thank God.
Okay, have you ever interacted with me?
Depends what you call interacting.
And the townspeople all looked in horror as Jack was blown up.
Terrible news, folks! The worst tragedy of our times! Jack has been blown to smithereens!
I can't bear it.
So what?
And since I am dead, I can take off my head to recite Shakespearean quotations.
If Jack is dead, and even setting himself on fire and decapitating himself doesn't do anything, what difference does it make if he's blown up or not?
Well, he did need Zero to put him back together. Like, we see Zero carrying his pieces to him.
Well, that means that someone else could take the blown up bits and put them together. So it sucks.
And it's like he's separated into so many pieces. There's probably a myth. I imagine there's a myth somewhere. You probably would be more familiar with it. What I mean, there's probably some myth of somebody who could not be killed, so they cut the body into pieces and shipped it off to a bunch of different places. Or maybe that's just a common trope that shows up in various movies and TV shows and doesn't have any mythological basis.
I think there's the story of Osiris, where Osiris gets cut into several different pieces, and Isis has to go and put them together. There's only one piece that's missing, but we won't get into that.
Oh, okay, so that's what that's from.
There's that. There's probably other things that are. Yeah, there's other stuff too, the same sort. But yeah, there's that myth of Isis putting Osiris back together again. But there's probably other stuff. I think there's someone in Boiardo, Italian in an Italian chivalric epic where the bad guy, when you cut a bit off, it just joins back onto him again. And they finally kill him by chopping off his head and burying his head so it can't attach to his body again.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah, we've all been there.
Jack being blown up isn't going to make him any more dead than Simba leaping from that ravine will make him more alive. So Jack now decides to bring Santa back to set things right. So he goes back to... Oh, that's how you get to the human world? Through a mortuary?
Why not?
It's not a door like the holiday doors? It's something out of a random graveyard?
Sure, why not?
Well,
yeah.
Well, it's just how else is he? I imagine Santa goes there in order to do things, so why not?
I mean, Santa probably doesn't go through a mortuary. Santa probably goes through a chimney.
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah.
Did they know about this before today? Do they come here often? How does this place work? So as Jack races back to collect Santa, we
that was so funny for some reason. Carry on.
see the boogeyman still holding him here for no reason. Sally tries to rescue him, but of course fails miserably. Useless as always. And finally, in one seemingly insignificant line, we are finally told what Boogie intends to do with these two.
Ashes to ashes and dust to dust. Oh, I'm feeling weak with hunger.
Holy hell! You're going to eat them?
Was that your plan?
Well, one of them. We have many plans.
Well, maybe your next plan should be to tell me what the plan is.
So he's just about to eat them, I guess, for no reason, when Jack
Yeah.
Boogeyman.
They could have had Sally rescue Santa, it's true. They would have given her something to do besides mope about Jack and about how Christmas is being ruined. Give her something to do, I guess.
Fair.
Yeah.
At least be more successful.
Yeah, I guess. I guess that would have been okay. Then we would have missed the whole bit where Jack is messing about on whatever that gadget is that Boogie is using to kill people with.
The cauldron, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, there's a whole like conveyor belt and a bunch of things, slicey things and stuff. Anyway,
arrives to rescue them both.
Hello, Oogie. Jack, but they said you were dead.
He is dead.
Everyone's dead.
Jack thwarts the boogeyman from doing nothing. Christmas is put back the way it was, and everyone moves on as if none of this ever happened. But to add to the pointlessness of the end, they try to shoehorn in a scene of Jack and Sally being together. Sally, who has done fuck all in this movie, and Jack, who just barely had one scene with her, are thrown together to try to give this mess some kind of a love story in the end. No! No, I can't! As you can see, the story was so thin and worthless in this film that it barely made a 3-part review. I was actually going to make this a 2-part review when I realized how short the second act in this film was, but I ran out of time and couldn't edit them together all in the same day. Sorry about that. But that's just another example of how completely empty this film was. Like The Lion King and 2001: A Space Odyssey, the artistry of this film cannot be denied. What they were able to do with stop-motion animation and the incredible amount of work and effort that went into that animation is truly remarkable. But as a movie, it's just atrocious. I've seen films that had these kinds of problems before that stuck with me until present day. But this is one of the only bad movies that was so empty, it was truly forgettable. The end.
I've seen better films on prison ships. This film is less than crap. At least crap has value as fertilizer. This film isn't even good as fertilizer. Have you ever tried fertilizing anything with this film? No, I thought not. See, it's not even. It doesn't even have ecological value. It's not even crap. It's nothing. It's Pardon me.
I would ask, "Are you done?" But I know you're not me, so.
No, thank God, no.
Oh, come on. Wouldn't it be hilarious if you ended up being a version of me that went back in time?
Would it be more forward in time if he's older?
Well, no, he's me, then he goes back in time.
And is born, apparently?
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I think if that were true, then Just kill me now. So yeah, as I was saying, the film isn't even Fertilizer, so it sucks. I'm convinced.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not terribly complicated. It's pretty straightforward. It's just about a guy who just isn't satisfied with his lot in life.
Yeah, just want something new.
We've all been there, Jack. We've all been there.
Oh, poor Jack. Yeah. Well, I think that'll call it. Any final thoughts? This is not the worst Confused Matthew review. Definitely his No Country for Old Men was the worst. But this will be up on YouTube
This is just
soon.
a nothing burger.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, most of the facts that he gives are correct. The interpretations of the facts are often dubious, and maybe the whole thing's a little bit overwrought,
Mm-hmm.
a little bit hyperbolic.
Honestly, there are way worse movies that came out around that time. You know what? Let's actually Let's see. So it came out in 1993. Okay, so 1994. Okay, so let me check something actually. One moment. It's Matthew. Let me actually check. Let me check this because
You know his words. Problems with this film, as I did with the other two, 4 was a really bad year for me. 1994 was a really bad year for me when it came to movies. It's the
Okay. Well, okay, that's funny. You made a mistake. Nightmare Before Christmas was 1993, but I guess let's. That's understandable. Let me check 1994 in movies. Let's see. Okay.
Oh.
There's a lot of good movies that came out in 1994. Oh my gosh. Lion King was the number one. Forrest Gump, number 2. True Lies, that one's fun. The Mask, that one's really fun. Speed, I don't know. Flintstones was bad. That was really bad. Dumb and Dumber's funny.
Yeah.
Never watched it. I really like Interview with the Vampire. That one's fun. Let's see. January's the dumping ground, so we won't. Oh, I love Ace Ventura: The Pet Detective. That's a great movie. Yeah, I will admit Star Trek V is a bad movie. That's a good example.
That's
Could
have been worse, I guess.
Oh my gosh, Silence of the Hams
with a H.
What is this?
Huh.
It's a comedy, like it's a parody of. Okay.
Oh.
Okay. Naked Gun 3. Kind of interested in watching that. Oh, Mighty Ducks. Yeah, Mighty Ducks 2. Yeah.
Some of these films I've actually heard of.
Leprechaun 2. It's funny.
What?
Leprechaun 2. White Fang 2. Interesting. I didn't know that.
A lot of sequels.
Stephen King's The Stand. Most people don't like that one. The Crow. That one's an
Crow, that's a
interesting
good
one.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
good one. But one of the things about it is that the main actor died as a result of it because they
Yeah.
accidentally loaded a live round.
Oh, that's ugh. Yeah, yeah. Even if it's a good film, I don't think I'd want to watch it in that case.
Yeah, so Brandon Lee, son of Bruce Lee. So what happened was dummy cartridges. So they created their own by pulling the bullets from live round, dumping the powder charge but not the primer, then reinstating the bullets. It was an unsupervised actor pulling the gun on the trigger while it was loaded by a powerless but prime round. The having not removed the primer could detonate with enough energy to launch a bullet and lodge it in the barrel.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, that would freak me out.
Yeah. So they had to do some jiggery pokery with the end to try and make it work. Okay, Princess and the Goblin. It's one of the better film to movie adaptations, admittedly. Yeah, 1994 was not a bad year, all things considered. And it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Oh, Black Beauty. I love that movie. That's a good movie. I haven't watched it in a long.
The horse?
Yeah, I love that movie and the book. Oh, Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. That was funny.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
The freaking movie that Sia thought that was some kind of coded style movie.
Sounds frightening.
Yeah.
It's about a trio of drag queens going out into the desert on a holiday in Australia.
Pulp Fiction.
Yeah. Huh. A lot of good stuff here. That's weird. Santa Claus is okay, I suppose. It's not that funny, but yeah, Star Trek Generations, that one's bad. Yeah, that was really bad.
Yeah.
Pagemaster's okay. It's a fun one. Yeah, it's kind of weird that he lumps a 1993 movie with two movies that came out in the tail end of 1994. I guess he just conflated it.
Yeah, it's easy enough to get confused, especially if your name is confused.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think we'll call it good for today. I'll upload this to YouTube in a bit, and you won't get any of these stream breaks. Alrighty, we'll see you guys later. Bye.
Have a riot.
Bye-bye.